Hello and welcome back. This is Dawn. Today I am very excited to get to formally introduce you to my newest collaboration with Spellbinders. This is the Fair Winds collection. Now, if you remember my previous collection with them, it was coastal inspired as well, and we are carrying on in that same vein with this collection. Now, the last collection, we kind of focused on what was beneath the surface. In this collection, we're going above the surface. So in this collection, you will find 3 dies that are absolutely amazing. We also have a background stencil, and then we have a stamp and coordinating die set. Now, each of these can be used on their own, or they can be combined to have even more fun. So let's go ahead and take a look at each of these individually. First up, we have the Set Sail die set. I had a blast creating this one. This one went through a couple of revisions because we wanted to make it as easy as possible to put together. So you can see here you get 11 dies in this set. And first up, we have 3 dies here that can create this wave. So you get the base of the wave, and then you have 2 pieces here to create those foam caps on the wave. And you can use these separately to do some fun stuff as well, which I will show you in an upcoming video for another card. But here you can see you get this nice wave formation with these white foam sea caps, which are going to be perfect to set your boat in. Now, this sailboat is probably my favorite item from the entire collection. We made it as simple as possible to put together. There are 5 individual dies. You get the base of the boat. Now, this is going to create the base of the boat with the cabin, with the stays, with the mast, with the boom, all that stuff. Then you just use the other pieces and adhere them directly on top of that base piece. So you've got the bottom of the boat, and then you've got the cabin part here, and then you've got a cute little decorative stripe. So you can add different colors for your top and your for your base and your cabin of your boat. You also get the 2 sails here, and again, those are going to attach easily to the mast and the stays. You also get these 3 dies to create these clouds. Now, these are unique in that you can layer them up to create some dimensional clouds, or you can use them separately, or you can use 2 of the pieces to layer together. It's up to you. It just gives you a lot of different options. Now, as a bonus, these can also be cut in different colors, like say green, to create some greenery or shoreline, if you will, if you're creating scenes. And don't worry, I will be demonstrating that again in an upcoming video, so stay tuned for that. So that is a look at the new Set Sail die set from the Fair Winds collection with Spellbinders. Up next, we're going to take a look at Guiding Light. And this one is probably the cornerstone of the collection. I feel like the lighthouse is the quintessential symbol of hope when it comes to anything seafarer. Now, in this one, you get the dies to create the lighthouse, 2 rock formations, and then 2 seagulls. The seagulls are in 2 different sizes and facing in different directions, so you can create a bit of depth and perspective there. It's a lot of fun. You can see here in my master sheet, I've added some shading and some texture to each of the items just to give you a look at how you can really change up the look and feel when you're using dies by just using some inking. So here you get this large rock base. It's got a flat top, which allows you to set the lighthouse on it. And these have 2 layers. You've got the base layer, and then you've got the top layer, which actually creates the shadows, which gives you the facets of the rock. These are very simple to use, but very impactful. Like I said, you get the 2 sizes of the seagulls. And then over here you get the lighthouse. Now, the lighthouse does have the most pieces, and it can be a little bit more finicky to put together. However, we wanted to include as much detail as possible and make this super simple to put together. When I illustrated this, I designed it after the St. Augustine lighthouse here in St. Augustine, Florida. But you could certainly change up the colors. You can use the stripes or not use the stripes. The layers are all full layers. So each piece, when you cut it and put it down, it will create the full layer. So you can get away with using fewer pieces if that's your preference. That's what I'm trying to get at. If you want to create a lot of depth, you'll use all of the layers. But again, if you just wanted a silhouette of the lighthouse, you could get away with the base piece. But all of the dies are also marked with etching to show you where each layer should go. So even without the top layers, they do have that etched detail. Here you have the little light on the inside, which is perfect for creating interactive light up cards. And you also have the windows and the doors. And again, those are etched in the base piece, and they're also etched into the stripes so that you can tell exactly where to put everything. And here's a close-up of that. So you can see how this would still work even if you didn't want to include any of the detail pieces that go on top to create depth. So with these rock formations, there's actually several different ways that you can arrange your lighthouse with the rocks. Like here, you can put the lighthouse on this largest base rock. You could then add in this other smaller rock and slide it behind to create some depth or a larger rocky slope if you wanted. You could also certainly use it on its own. You could add it to the other side again to create some depth if you wanted to spread the scene across the bottom of your card. This would work as well. We also have a cute little seagull coming up that you can use this rock with that seagull. And you can combine these rocks with the background stencil, which I will show you coming up here in a minute. But again, here you go. You can put the lighthouse behind the rock to make it look like the lighthouse is further away and the rocks are closer. It's all up to you. There's a ton of different ways to utilize this set. Now, speaking of that seagull, let's go ahead and take a look at the next die in this collection, and that is the Oh Buoy die set. This one cracks me up. I love it. It is a small but mighty die set. Here you can see in the sample card on the screen how cute this little guy is. He has so much character. So in this die set, you get the seagull, you get 3 different buoys. So you get the life ring and then 2 of these individual little buoys that you might use for lobster or crab cages. And then you get the dock pylon there with some rope to tie around the top. I love this one. I think that this one is so much fun, and it just adds the cutest little nautical elements to a card. So here you can see all of the dies that you get. The seagull has 3 pieces. 3 dies, 4 pieces. So you get the body, and then you have the legs, you have a wing, and you have a beak. So here we've got the legs separate from the body. Now this is because we only have 1 seagull, but we can change him up. We can simply adhere his body a little bit lower and make him look like he's squatting, or we can apply them at an angle, or we can adhere them higher. And this way we can put multiples of the same seagull on our card, but get a little different look. It doesn't look like they are identical. Super, super cute. He can rest on top of this little pylon here, or he can rest on the rocks from our guiding light stamps or die set. But I just think that he is just the cutest little thing. Okay, so just like the etching that we had in our previous die sets, you're also going to have that etching throughout these dies as well. So for instance, the dock pylon, you've got all of the wood grain going through. So when you cut this out, it's going to give you that wood grain texture. You've got the same little texture on your ropes that go around the pylon. And then of course you've got the etching detail on all of the buoys so that you know where to place any of the decorative pieces. Now these little buoys here, the larger one has a large square that you can put in it. And then the other little buoy has the smaller square that you can put in it. But you can, of course, decorate these any way you want. So you could use this longer buoy here and add the 2 smaller stripes to this one and get a totally different look. I think that this would be great to cut multiples of these and to create a grid card and then just add a simple sentiment, nice and clean and fun. Okay, so let's take a look at the next thing in this this collection, and that is the Uncharted Waters background stencil. Now this one has 6 layers, but they are 6 easy layers, you guys. I had 3 major points that I wanted to hit when I illustrated and created this stencil. I wanted it to be detailed enough to be used on its own, but I also wanted it to be simple enough that it could serve as the backdrop for all of the dies in this collection. But beyond all that, I wanted it to be easy to use. So here you have the rock formations. You have a horizon line with 2 levels of foliage back there, and then you have some layered clouds along with some details in the water for reflections, and then you have seagulls. Now the 6th layer is optional. If you don't want the seagulls there, you can use the dies from the guiding light set, or you can use them both together. Now, speaking of using them together, I mentioned that I wanted this to be a great backdrop for the dies. So here you can see it is simple enough and scaled perfectly to serve as the background for all of these dies. So here you can see I'm showing you how you can just layer up these rocks with the rocks that are already in the background. You can add your lighthouse. Then we could come in and add some of those seagulls on top, and it's going to be beautiful. And because this is a 6x6 stencil, you could create several of the backgrounds and none of them would look identical if you just shift your stencil to the left or the right, depending on which part of the stencil you want to capture. As always, it's really up to you, and there's enough here for you to really get creative with it. So you can see here we can push this lighthouse further forward by bringing these larger rocks to the foreground, or you can push the lighthouse further back. In that case, you would move that lighthouse there up more towards the horizon line and place your rocks in front of it. This is going to push that lighthouse to the it's going to push that lighthouse further away and make it look like it is off more in the distance. And then you can bring in the other dies from this collection. So for instance, the sailboat, you could bring this in now and put it in the foreground. And because the sailboat is larger, it is going to look like it is closer to you, and you can create some perspective with these cards by pairing these together. And although it was created to go with the rest of the collection to serve as the background for the rest of these dies, it absolutely can stand on its own, which was super important to me when I designed this. So here you can see I've also colored it up in a couple of different color schemes, and it's gorgeous. Like, you don't really need to put anything else here. You slap a sentiment on this and it's good to go. So here we have like maybe a daytime view. And then on this one, it's more of maybe a sunrise. It kind of feels, it could be sunset. It just looks more sunrise-ish to me. Here I'm showing you how you can capture different areas of the stencil depending on how far you shift your paper. But I also wanted to show you another option. This one could be more like a sunset. It's definitely more vibrant, but darker. So darker, but vibrant. You can get a lot of different fun looks out of this stencil. And like I said, it's perfect for the backdrop for this collection, but it also can stand all on its own. You just add one of the sentiments here in the center and it is good to go. Speaking of sentiments, we need to round out this collection with the Fair Winds sentiments and coordinating dies. This is a great sentiment set here. You get the 4x6 sentiments as well as the coordinating dies. And there is a die available for each of the larger hero sentiments here. So these would be for the front of your card. Now you could stamp them on the inside for sure, but they're larger scale, so they're great for your hero sentiments on the front, your large greeting. You have Let Your Dreams Set Sail, Fair Winds and Following Seas. There's a Happy Father's Day in here, Let Hope Guide You, Relax and Enjoy, Seize the Day, and I'd Be Lost Without You. Now, of course, we've got some sub-sentiments like thank you, happy birthday, and we've got some great verses for the inside of the cards as well. We've got thank you for always being there for me. That's going to be great with the I'd Be Lost Without You. You've got the May the seas lie smooth before you. May a gentle breeze forever fill your sails. May sunshine warm your face and kindness warm your soul. That is a great one for the Fair Winds and Following Seas or the Relax and Enjoy. These are great for, say, retirement cards or even birthday, right? Now, you've also got a couple other little small sentiments there for the inside greetings of your cards. You have the one that pairs great with the Happy Father's Day. You have I'm so grateful to be sharing life, love, and parenthood with you. I really love that one. It's just a great all-around sentiment. That'd be great for Mother's Day as well. Nothing makes me happier than the time we spend together. Again, another great one for Father's Day or Mother's Day. So that is a closer look at my newest collection with Spellbinders, the Fair Winds collection. And this is a perfect complement to my previous collection with them, the Seahorse Kisses. If you're looking for either of these, I will have them linked in the description box below. They are now available at Spellbinders as well as at many of your favorite retailers. Now, I do have videos coming up using this whole collection with new cards that haven't yet been featured. So if you don't want to miss those, make sure you're subscribed. As always, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.